So the goal of the project is basically to address barriers to Nepal's water-secure future. We are looking at life-sustaining gains in access to water supply and sanitation for unserved and underserved. And we are looking at the Karnali's most water-stressed communities, serving them, and ensuring sustainable water resources through improved coordination and capacity. This project does come at a watershed moment in Nepal's history. Along significant strides in decentralization, Nepal has made significant gains towards universal basic water supply and sanitation coverage in the recent years, culminating in the country's achievement of open defecation status in 2019, September. However, these impressive gains do not tell the whole story, nor do they reflect the reality many Nepali communities, especially the most vulnerable, are facing. Quality, quantity, equity of water supply and sanitation services are lacking. Water supply and sanitation coverage gains have been unequally distributed across geographies, ecological zones, wealth quintiles, gender and age disparities, and ethnicity and caste affiliations. In addition to these equity considerations, sustained functionality of these water supply and sanitation infrastructure is limited. We are very well aware of that. Only 25% of these systems are fully functional, and about 40% require major repairs due to poor operational and financial management. Climate change, water resources mismanagement, land use changes such as deforestation, wetland drainage, overgrazing, all of these threaten mountain and hill communities' spring sources in the Karnali River Basin. Many of Nepal's vast water resources, surface and ground, have high levels of chemical and microbial contamination as a result of unlined pit latrines, septic tank seepage, flooding, unsustainable farming practices. The likelihood of water source pollution exponentially increases among the poor and the marginalized. So DAI has been awarded a 5-year project, the USAID Karnali Water Activity, we call it. It is a 5-year program with 3 base years until 2024 and an opportunity to extend into 2026. The total budget is around 24.8 million, with 15 for the 3 base years. We are expecting to work very closely with our subcontractors who are on our proposals. IMI, International Water Institute Management, and Dr. Kharka is here with us, the country head. We have 500B, who's working on the fecal sludge management with us. Anjali ji should be here soon. And Scott Wilson, Nepal, Shubhaji is here. They are working on supporting all of the schemes that we are building in water supply and sanitation. So we will have 2 offices, a very small office in Kathmandu with about 15 staff. You met most of them. We've managed to hire at least the Kathmandu team here. We are beginning with our field office hiring, about 25 to 30 people in the field, and the office will be in Surkhet. If you look at our geography, we are working in 4 watersheds, Rara upstream, and you have Tila in the Jumla, touching the Jumla area. On the eastern tributary of the Karnali, you can see Karnali flowing right through. So we have Middle Karnali watershed, mainly covering Kaliput, Acham and Daile. As we move further down into Lower Karnali, the downstream watershed includes Kailani, Bardia, and touches a little bit on Surkhet as well. So we are covering 3 provinces. Karnali is the main province, and we are working in 29 municipalities. The hydrological boundaries of the 4 watersheds do not overlap, obviously, with the political and management boundaries, which are the 29 municipalities in yellow. We do plan on opening watershed level offices, so our presence is in the watershed, and we do have about 4 or 5 staff in each watershed to manage all of these activities. Okay, so how are we going to do this? There is one approach, which was greatly appreciated by USAID. It is a DAI approach. It is one of one water, and is based on the specific needs and challenges of each target site. One water creates an integrated vision and drives collective action in the Karnali River Basin by first mapping assets, risks, and attitudes of each site. Then we convene stakeholders, multi-stakeholders, to align interests, to help co-design and co-implement plans and interventions. The activity will also look at rigorous monitoring, learning, and adapting for impact and sustainability. So these are the 4 approaches to our one water approach. This does include actors at the community, municipal, watershed, and national level to achieve water sustainability goals. This is how the 4 goals are presented in context of our 4 major objectives. The project will facilitate the development and implementation of integrated plans that recognize and reconcile the inextricable linkages between water supply system and water resources management, building from a shared data-driven watershed vision. To align interests and incentivize inclusive, integrated water supply and water resources management, we are going to deploy this one water approach in the 4 watersheds. Mirroring the government's One House, One Tap and One House, One Toilet campaign, One Water will capitalize on the campaign's brand recognition. One Water will be the next generation of the campaign, widening the focus from infrastructure, taps and toilets, to a more holistic, system-wide vision that elevates and integrates water resources management with water supply and sanitation service quality, quantity, and equity to achieve water security. One Water integrates water supply and sanitation service delivery and water resources management by mapping and strengthening the roles, connections, and capacities of key actors and assets system-wide. One Water will assist the Karnali water activity watershed actors at different levels to jointly assess the interconnectedness among the built and the natural assets, calculate climate risks and future demands, and co-create and implement integrated solutions for greater water security. The project will bring actors together beyond the water sector to manage and protect shared resources, which is essential to the health of aquatic and terrestrial species, agriculture, wildlife, tourism, industry, and forests, which are major sources of economic growth in the Karnali region. So basically, this is showing you the entire picture of our work plan. We have certain assessments that we need to start conducting after dusing, some risk and vulnerability assessments, some baselines, water source and biodiversity baselines through PRAs, PEAs, rolling PEAs. We need to conduct rapid capacity assessments of the different municipal governments and develop research and learning products while we support 4 objectives. The 4 objectives, sorry, there are 5 objectives, but 4 are key. I'll explain the 5th one. The first is increase sustainable access to safe drinking water, water for productive use. So a lot of agriculture comes into this. Increase sustainable access to and use of safely managed sanitation and fecal sludge management. Strengthen governance for sustainable, resilient management of water resources. And strengthen the last objective of conservation of watersheds and biodiversity. The 5th is a supplemental assistance, and it's linked to disaster response and recovery, especially with support for sustained improvements in water and sanitation service delivery in response to a disaster. So this is only kick in when there is that situation with supplemental assistance. So by 2026, as you can see in your the fact sheet, we've listed some of the goals, what we aim to accomplish by 2026. Strong water management systems for safe and sustainable water services, construction of and financial sustainability for fecal sludge treatment plants, leading to safer management of sanitation, strong coordination and capacity for water supply and sanitation, new policies and regulations for improved watershed-level resource management across all levels of government, including water use management plan, the WOMS, the IWRMs, and payment for ecosystem service business plans, so the PES. So we're looking at all of these as tools that we can, and establishments that we can support. And then we're also looking at to enhance productive use of water for improved agricultural-led growth and community resilience. So a lot of collaboration and partnership with Feed the Future programs supported by USAID and other donors. We're also looking at inspired, safe and sustainable water community champions, adaptive social behavior, and improve capacity for water safety and conservation.